Hey guys, it's Pastor John. Thank you so much for joining me today as we journey together through the Gospel of St. Luke, as we really have a lunch together with Luke. What a blessing it is to be on this journey to learn more about Jesus together. In our last episode, we know that in our previous episode, we know that really Mary took a journey from Nazareth down into the hill country of Judea, which would have been a rather lengthy trip. Took that journey to visit Zechariah and to visit Elizabeth, her relative. Probably wise for her to get out of town a bit after the news that she had received. Also very encouraging for her to spend that time with Zechariah and Elizabeth. And in today's episode, we're going to really see really the reaction of Mary's heart. We're going to really see Mary really celebrate. We're going to really see her heart response to the news that she's received. So here we are in episode 10 of Lunch with St. Luke. And you know, one of the things which we've seen recently with Amanda Gorman is we've seen how beautiful and how wonderful and how really powerful poetry can be, right? Whether it was at the inauguration or Super Bowl, we can see a poet really reciting a poetic verse and have such a profound impact not only on cognitive meaning and on understanding, but just also a real impact emotionally. It's a way of expressing more than just the content of the words. It's also a way of expressing really the heart behind those words. We know today we are going to, as I was mentioning, we're going to see Mary's response, her response to all this news that she's been receiving. And we've got a rather lengthy passage today, and I'm going to focus mainly on reading this text. But I really want us to allow our hearts to experience what Mary is saying as we read this passage together. We go out of Luke chapter 1, and Mary said, "My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord." By the way, just as a pause there, the greatness of the Lord, this is often called the Magnificat, and this is Mary's song of praise. And we see songs of praise like this even throughout the Old Testament. We see this is really a reaction of the heart to the truth of God, and here we see Mary really step into the role of poet here. We see her break into song. So, and Mary said, "My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord, and my spirit has rejoiced in God my Savior, because he has looked with favor on the humble condition of his slave. Surely, from now on, all generations will call me blessed, because the Mighty One has done great things for me, and his name is holy. His mercy is from generation to generation on those who fear him. He has done a mighty deed with his arm. He has scattered the proud because of the thoughts of their hearts. He has toppled the mighty from their thrones and exalted the lowly. He has satisfied the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. He has helped his servant Israel, mindful of his mercy, just as he spoke to our ancestors, to Abraham and his descendants forever." And Mary stayed with her about 3 months. Then she returned to her home. As we think about that beautiful verse where Mary expresses really her worship of God in his justice, God in his mercy, God in showing favor and blessing, what a beautiful, just beautiful verse, beautiful words. I mean, makes you, give the snapping response to poetry, right? One of the things which Mary really focuses on, and which really resonates even back with, I think, the Song of Hannah. I think of other themes even back into the Old Testament. But here in Mary's song, there's really a focus on the poor, on those who need, on those who are humble. I want us to see that word for the humble state of your servant, that tapé nosen, that idea of humility, of lowliness. It's an idea of a lowering, or of an abasement, or even of a dejection. In the ancient world, humility was not often seen as a virtue. It was seen as a kind of a lowness of mind. It was seen as something that was, beneath someone who would be a great thinker or a great citizen, or that humility certainly was not a virtue in the surrounding pagan world. But one of the things which we're going to see in the Gospel of Luke is that this idea of humility, of recognizing our lowness before God, that is indeed a central virtue to Christianity. Really, to come to Jesus at all, you have to recognize your need. You have to recognize your brokenness. You have to recognize your poverty. You have to, with humility, not think of yourself as greater than you are, but with a profound honesty and a clear, realistic appraisal, recognize how desperately you need God's grace. If you're going to have a relationship with God, it all starts there. It all starts with humbly recognizing how much you need Him. It is impossible to be a Jesus follower. It's impossible to experience God's grace. It's impossible to have real profound spiritual joy and relationship with God. It's absolutely impossible apart from humility. So I find it interesting that Mary's song here, as she celebrates Jesus, as she celebrates what God is doing in her life, as she gets to be Jesus' mother, that this song which she's singing really reflects on what it means to be humble, of what it means to recognize your need, and to really look to God for grace. Oh, there's a question kind of implicit in that for us, isn't there? Do you see yourself as exalted, or do you see yourself as lowly? How much of your time and of your effort do you spend of trying to make yourself appear to be greater than you are? Or how honest are you about your need, about your brokenness, about your poverty? Oh, if you're going to be a Jesus follower as we walk on this journey together, that really requires you, it requires all of us, to recognize our need. And to start there. To start by bringing our need before God. And as such, recognizing His grace. Well, what a powerful song. And I encourage you even here during this week to come, spend some time reading those verses that Mary sang. Spend some time memorizing them, spend some time meditating on them. Let those sink into your heart, and really bring your need, bring your poverty to God, and look for His grace. celebrate what He's doing in your life. Have a terrific week, and keep following Jesus.